So this video is Kaizer's week 2, and he's a gold star graduate of Behaviour dog training. He's a great dog, lots of potential, and by day 11-12, which was when this was filmed, he's almost a pager only dog. Now if you're new to the pager, what the pager is just vibration. So it's just like your mobile phone going off in your pocket, but instead it's going off around the dog's neck. Now I will explain in the other videos for you the benefits, pros, cons of the pager, how to introduce it to your dog, and how to then use that to manipulate and elicit certain desirable behaviours and to diminish other non-desirable behaviours. But this is all about Kaizer for now. So before I show you the couple of clips, I really want to give you an update really for Kaizer's family, just with regards to some sort of further progress that we've made in week 2. So with regards to the first one, he's no longer going in between the legs. So that was the default behaviour for Kaizer, and it is for a lot of dogs actually. So what he'd do, he'd run to you, run between your legs, he'd want to escape, or if he's a bit nervous, he'd run between your legs. So his imprint or his default behaviour was really to run in between your legs. Now this is cute when the dogs are little, but when they're big it's not so cute and actually very dangerous. He almost knocked me over a few times in doing that, so I wasn't expecting it. And where he didn't have the boundaries or really respect space, he would barge and push and be quite boisterous to get in between your legs. So when he was coming at me at speed, I didn't obviously have my legs open or particularly closed, and he just barged his way through and I almost flipped up, landed on my back. Fortunately I was quite stable on my feet and that didn't happen, but you can see the dangers of that. So all I kind of did, as discussed in week 1, was start shutting my legs and just stopping him doing that behaviour. I didn't need to correct him, I just needed to just stop it. And so I just kept closing my legs because I knew that was coming. So now he doesn't do that, but with that being a practice behaviour, just be very careful because you can fall back into that. Which brings me onto the second point, and some further improvements around boundaries. Kaizer would be very bolshy in getting your attention. I'm sure you've all seen it either with your dogs or other dogs, in which they'd forcefully put their head on your hands and flip you and get close to you and push into you and all that sort of thing. So in separate training sessions, obviously not the recall, just wanted to get that in there really, I've taught him how to respect space and boundaries. And in a dog's world, space equals respect. And I will be covering that in another video once I'm able to sort of sit down and put that together, because that's extremely important. So Kaizer didn't really know much about boundaries, he didn't really know much about space and giving dogs and humans space. And the problem is, I think, with Kaizer is where he's practiced that with his human family, and then being such a high drive dog and very difficult to kind of socialise because of that high drive and that energy, he probably hasn't been socialised with dogs as well as he perhaps could have been. And I understand as to why that happens when you have a difficult dog on your hands. So where there was no boundary set with the humans, that then translated across to the dog world. And in the dog's world, that's going to get you into a lot of trouble, okay? Because again, in the dog's world, space equals respect. I was walking both Apache and Summer sort of home a few days ago, and one of my neighbours has a spaniel, and sort of the spaniel came out. I said hi to the owner. Then I saw the owner kind of freeze and pull back and act very sort of nervous, and which made me wonder a few things, because I've met the dog before when his wife sort of introduced herself, when we sort of first moved in, and there was a completely different energy sort of within her, and the dog was absolutely fine. So I knew there was some kind of issue there with regards to him and how he was feeling at that particular time. And what actually happened is that the dogs ran up to the dog, and then the dog sort of lunged and sort of barked and told these dogs to kind of give space, or more so sort of Apache more than anything else, because Apache can be quite intense and quite overwhelming. And then we had a discussion around that because he thought that was aggression. It's not really aggression, it's more boundary setting, but obviously you don't want the dog to continually practice that, because the more they practice something, the more confident they get, the quicker it can escalate in the future. However, it wasn't aggression, it was purely just boundary setting. So it was saying to Kaizer, if you are going to come this close to me, you need to calm down and slow down, or you need to give me space. So that's what will happen in the dog world. So Kaizer comes in with a lot of energy. He didn't quite understand the warnings that dogs were giving him. and that was going to get him into a lot of trouble, and it almost got him into a lot of trouble on our walks as well. So I've had to sort of teach him through the use of the collar that he can engage, but he can't engage when he's at, you know, a super high level, because that will get him into trouble, and he needs to learn, you know, the boundaries and space, and to give the dogs and humans the respect that they need. So he's made excellent progress with that. He used to as well at certain points, when I grab the treat, push his way into the treat because he's so food driven. And in the first week I didn't really want to correct that too much, because I really wanted to build that drive, you know, within Kaizer, and have him know that anytime that he moves in my direction and that he comes to me, it's nothing but good vibes and, you know, and positive experiences. By week 2 I was then setting boundaries, creating space a little bit more consistently this time, you know, in every single situation. So if he recalled to me but was just going for the treats, then I could correct that, because he now knows that the recall is really what I want, and that's really clear to him at that point. So he's no longer sort of grabbing, you know, for treats and biting your fingers off. And also as well, when there are other dogs involved, he is giving space to that as well now, which is really, really great to see, and that's going to keep him out of a lot of trouble in the future. The whining is pretty much non-existent now. There are still some shrieks of excitement that he gives out if he's really dying for the toilet and you've released him. And sometimes on the release he will shriek because he's going, you know, into an environment or allowed to do something that he really, really wants to do. So there is still an element of that. But in terms of any kind of separation anxiety, that's gone. Especially by week 3, we're in week 3 now, I'm actually dropping Kaizer back tomorrow. That's pretty much gone, and that's non-existent. He does still bark from time to time, but you give a command to be quiet and he follows that. And I don't like to take the barking completely out of the dog, because a lot of people do like, you know, having an alert dog and them alerting you to someone's presence, you know, when they're around the house or in close proximity to the house. So I'm okay with the barking as long as you can quiet them on command, which he now does. He's also much better with thresholds. There is still an element of excitement there, because again he's practiced that for a year now, and had that reinforced quite a lot. And I've only really had him for 3 weeks, so he's almost there with thresholds, but you can still see that excitement, but you can contain that, which is great. The owners and the family sort of said to me last week that they are going to get an e-collar and continue this work, which is great. That's what I always suggest, that's what I always want, that's what I always promote. Because again, the time that I have with them is actually very short. So although a month may seem a long time, when you actually think about it, it's actually not. If a dog's been practicing a behaviour every day, you know, for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, it's not going to go away in just a night or just a week. You know, it does take time, and it does take then the continuation of this training with the family to provide the extra consistency and the repetitions to create those habits that the dog needs to get into in order to become that type of dog. So whenever a dog practices anything over and over and over again, it becomes that sort of dog. So it's really great that the family are gonna, you know, they have purchased an e-collar and they're gonna get to work, and they're gonna have a lot of fun with this dog, because he's a great dog. He's got a lot of motivation, a lot of animation. He's very happy to do things. He wants to do things, and he's a very happy dog when he has that structure and he's working. Kaizer's really much, you know, he's got that working dog energy within him, and that temperament. And that's what they love to do. They love to work. So I'm going to show them how to structure the things that we do with him, and we'll be dropping him off tomorrow. So I will let you know at some point how that goes. So moving on to the two, they're not 2 clips, there are a couple of clips, but they're focusing on 2 main issues. One is the retrieve. So we'll show you how he's retrieving now. And the second one is healing, so I'll go into a bit of detail about that as well, so you can see how well he's healing sort of by his 2nd week and within his 2nd week. I'll also touch a little bit on toy guarding as well before we step into the retrieve. So for that, and to kick off with that, I'm going to show you a little clip. And this clip is showing you the dog's natural behaviour sort of amongst themselves and the games that dogs play. And we can learn a lot from watching dogs and how they interact with each other. So I'm going to play that little clip for you now. I enjoyed filming it at the time, I enjoyed watching them have fun, and I'm sure you will do too. So that was a short fun clip of a game that sort of dogs play, and should hopefully give you an insight into a little bit about toy guarding within a dog's natural behaviour in the games that they play. So I hope you noticed there that whoever had the stick, which in this case was Summer, would move in a certain direction and then the dogs would take chase. So if a dog has something and moves in the opposite direction, they're going to run, because you're then the person who's then following them. So that's the game, and they've hooked you into that little game. So the best thing that you can do in any toy guarding situation is really never to move in their direction, but move into the opposite direction. And what that will do, that will speak to the natural instinct that's within the dog, and allow you to create sort of more desirable behaviours. It will eliminate them running away from you, because again, if you step forward, their natural instinct is to run in the opposite direction, and then you can pull them to you by doing exactly what they do and moving in the other direction. So you're not triggering any kind of instinct in the dog to run away if you're not moving in their direction. So we can use things like that for the recall. We can use things like that for the retrieve. Now, when it comes to toy guarding, the best time to really do this is within your puppy. And I appreciate, if you've never owned a puppy before, or it's your first time dog owner, you are learning these things, and you may not necessarily get these things sort of first time around, and that's okay. That really is okay. So when you do have a second dog, you've learnt these things from the first time, and then you can put these into your second dog. But if you were able to imprint these into your puppy at a young age, you're going to have a much better time as the dog then grows older, because again, whatever a dog does consistently, the dog will become that sort of dog. And when they're a puppy, that's the best time you can ever kind of imprint any behaviour that you want within your dog. It's always better to kind of prevent a particular behaviour than it is to allow and reinforce a behaviour, and then to have to then break that down and then reinforce another behaviour. Prevention is far better and far more successful than the cure. And if we have any puppies that come through that do have those toy guarding issues, I will show you how we kind of get that dog excited and coming to you and bringing the toy to you. Because I think that's really, really important. And also any kind of toy guarding, resource guarding, I will also speak to you on another sort of video, sort of a little bit more further about that as well, as and when these dogs come in. Unfortunately, I can't, and I'm very careful not to use any footage online because of copyright purposes. So as and when I'm working with dogs and I get this footage, I will share that with you, so you can see the dog's body language and their natural behaviour, because I think that's extremely important to see. I can sit and talk about it all day, but unless you're seeing it, it's not really going to have the sort of impact that I'd like for you. So I'm going to leave that part there, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the retrieve and what we did with Kaizer. So I have this clip, which is, I don't know how long it is, but it's fairly long. It's got some good information in there as well, so I'm not going to talk too long just now. I'm going to sort of play the clip and let you see the clip. But I just want to let anybody know, if you haven't seen week one, what I did with Kaizer before we kind of even got to this point. And what we did in week one was we taught out, we taught leave, and we taught the recall. The recall's number one for me. If you have a recall in your dog, that sets up 90% of behaviours that you want. Whenever you get your dog moving in direction, that's what you want. That can save your dog's life. If a dog's running to the road and you can recall it, it's not going to get hit by a car. If it's running towards an aggressive dog, it's not going to get bitten. If it's running towards any sign of danger, you know that you have the peace of mind that you can recall that dog from that. And the same with out and leave it as well. If a dog is running up to something that is not going to be good for them and potentially sort of harmful or fatal, then that you can recall them away from that. And if they do get in their mouth, you know that you can get them to out or leave it at a distance and with use of the collar. And again, that'll be for another video. But I just really want to show you a nice little trick that you can use for the retrieve. This is great if you have dogs with high drive, because it's going to be very, very difficult to gain enough distance to wear them out, because I guarantee you'll drop way before they do. Dogs are they've got a lot more stamina, they're a lot more athletic than we are, and they kind of know that too. So the retrieve is a great way to burn some energy. So if you do have a dog that likes to play keep away with a ball, and is more toy driven than sort of food driven, because different dogs, they prefer different rewards, just like us humans. then I think you'll find this video very useful. So anybody who knows Kaizer, seen Kaizer, this is a dog that likes to play keep away anyway, but especially with a toy in his mouth. So we have done some work before we've got to this point, but obviously we want to get him into the act of retrieving. We want to wear out, get some of his energy, wear out some of his energy from him, and this is a great way to do it. So we have taught other commands and other things, but the dog will naturally release one of these if you've got another one of these to treat it with. Because again, if you're trying to use treats to get him with the ball back and they've got more of a toy drive or a play drive, then another toy is going to be at the level of which they're kind of operating at the time, or what they want at the time. The treat will kind of fit here, which is why a lot of people have problems. No matter what they've got in their hand, the dog wants to play, got a high play drive. So I'm just going to show you this now. What's this, Kaizer? Cowboy! Cowboy, what's this? Oh, what's this? What's this? Out. So we have taught the out command. I'm not using any collar on the retrieve. Come on, boy. Kaizer, come on. And we've built the recall up before this point as well. Good. Come on. If I hadn't built the recall up before this point, then this wouldn't be working as well as it does. So definitely train the recall. Now he's getting the idea. Kaizer, this way. Come on, boy. Good. Out. Good. Well, you can have that. Out. Kaizer, out. Good. So again, what I did, I stepped back, I brought him to me, I showed him the treat. Get on then, boy. And it's all fun, there's no corrections here. Out. So there's absolutely no corrections in this work that we're doing right now. And in terms of the out, I think I made a video, I'll make another video about it as well. You can again use just vibration for the out. Good boy. So now he's got it, he brings that ball back, he's going to get another thing in return, he's getting a reward for bringing that ball back, rather than you taking the ball off of him. Good boy. Out. And as you can see already, this is a great way for them to burn energy. So if you do have a dog with a high drive, yeah, you can get a treadmill if you want to get a treadmill, but preferably you want to be building that engagement with your dog, that fun with your dog, out, and that relationship. And this will really build a relationship with your dog. And we've had Kaizer about 2 weeks now. I think it's about 2 weeks, and we've achieved this in less than 2 weeks. And we haven't really done that much work on the retrieve. Out, good boy. So this is just building within him that we're not going to take the ball back. This is a way for him to have more fun and a way for him to actually get the ball. Good boy. You're knackered now, aren't you, buddy? Good boy. I'm going to show you as well, actually, when they do start doing this. At that point they are knackered. He's tired, he's had a good run. We will stop this in just a second. But I want to show you how to get the speed up, or any speed up, with a dog coming in your direction. So we're going to do this. If he slows down again on his way back to us, then I'm going to show you what we can do. A very simple thing that you can do to get them moving quicker in your direction, which will again get them doing that over and over in time. They will naturally move to you at that speed. The send away as well, when they do go away, a lot of the time it's not quite working with Kaizer at the moment. When you do send a dog away, that builds energy, so you can then use that energy on the return and use that momentum of the send away. But let's just show you how to get them into you quicker. Oh. Came in pretty fast then, let's do it again. Out, good boy. So at this point he's trotting. I mean, he's getting quick now, but if I do this, go on, guys. Out. Out. Okay, so Hayden, when he's on his way back, if you could just bring it back to me. Here you go. Right, now bring it back to me. So this is what you do. Kaizer! Good boy. Again. So he's slow there at the point he's trotting, so this is what I do, and it brings the speed up in the dog on the way back. Good. Go. Again, he's trotting, he's knackered, game's over. In there, boy! You knackered now? Come on in. Come on in, Kaizer. Come here, come on, boy. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Come here. Good. This was another dog as well that would, in this situation here, would dart for the ball, would really want to get it because he knows you're about to take it off of him and he's going to want it. And if you see other dogs and when they play together as well, it's the same behaviour when dogs play together. So to train that as well, that was done in a separate training condition, training session. So we taught the out separately, we've taught the leave separately, we taught the recall separately, and we haven't used the collar in these sorts of training sessions whatsoever because the dog's motivated, the dog's got the behaviour that we want in, and we just elicit and manipulate their behaviour to what it is that we want. And in this situation, we manipulate their behaviour by using 2 balls. And this works on 99% of the dogs out there. You don't even need to teach the out initially. The sheer fact of them coming back for this ball, as soon as they drop the other ball, they get this ball, they soon start learning, sorry buddy, they soon start to learn that by them dropping the ball, they get what it is that they want, which is the second ball. And actually the second ball gives you enough leverage to get them back back in your direction with that ball as well. And 9 times out of 10 you show them that ball, they will drop the other ball in order to get this one. You pick it up and you play the game until they don't want to play anymore, or it's been enough, because some dogs, they will go literally until they drop. Kaizer was literally laying down just 2 minutes ago. I'll get his balls out again, he's happy to go again. But literally what we showed him is that we're not going to take these balls away from him. In fact, he gets these balls by engaging us, by playing with us and being cooperative. So we're going to treat him with a ball now. Oh, he's a powerful, speedy dog, that one. Hey, buddy. Good boy. And as you can see, happily moving in our direction with another ball in its mouth. Brought the ball back. Brilliant. Forward with another ball. Eventually we will get him retrieving that to hand, so actually putting that in your hand. But again, that's another separate training session as well. When it comes to board and train dogs, I have a very limited time with them. I can only achieve with that dog what that dog is capable of and happy doing. Some dogs we can work on the retrieve in 4 weeks, some it may take 8. Some dogs naturally do it to begin with, so we can just work on a few things such as self-control and calming the mindset around such a toy if they have obsession. But we'll be covering another video of how to avoid toy obsession, door obsession, threshold obsession in your work. It's a really simple thing that we do as well, and really involves our focus. So I hope you enjoyed seeing Kaizer train the retrieve today. I hope this information has been useful, and we'll see you again soon. Okay, so that was a nice little trick to show you how to get your dog to retrieve when they love to guard their ball or love to run around and generally like to stay out of your way with it. One thing that I do really want to say as well at this point is that I know Kaizer's capable of the retrieve, so I do want to ask more from this dog because he will get more out of it and he's capable of doing it. So I really want this dog to reach its full potential. The reason why I taught out and leave with Kaizer before I kind of got him sort of started on this game was so he didn't naturally release the ball every time he came to me. When dogs do that, it can cause a bit of an issue when it comes to delivering that to your hand. So once again, if you get a dog practicing a particular behaviour initially, that will be reinforced, and then you need to kind of try and teach it something a bit different, and it just causes loads of problems. So it's always really good if you can do your best to set them up for the sort of behaviour that you want them to do initially. So without, because he likes to hold on to things anyway, that gave me the ability to ask him to release it on command rather than just drop the ball when he comes to me. Often he would naturally do that anyway, but I'd always try and get that command in there and get him to and reinforce that command slightly before he may sort of want to release that naturally. Once we did this, we went off to another field to practice or to sort of shape delivery to hand. He wasn't as enthusiastic as I like him to be at this point, because we have done sort of long training session, and I did kind of force this a little bit in order to get the footage I needed for this clip today. So this here, what we did, I've got a plastic bottle. Lots of dogs love plastic bottles. They get excited by plastic bottles, and also it's much easier to grab a bottle out of his mouth than it would be, a ball. So we grabbed a bottle, went down to the field, and started sort of shaping him delivering it to my hand, because again he likes to hold on to things, which is great, and the recall's solid. So we're able to use those couple of things to our kind of advantage, as well as the out command. So what I did with this is obviously make the retrieve or the retrieval distance much shorter, so it was much easier and quicker for him to get back to me. And again, I was just running in the opposite direction, so he'd follow naturally, and then once he got to me, I'd be able to grab the bottle and then give the out command. So really what we're doing here, we're shaping him delivering that to our hand rather than just dropping it on the floor. And again, it's much easier to start them off doing this than it would be getting them to initially drop the ball without a command and then try and teach the delivery to hand later. If you just want to play just a nice retrieval game with your dog, then you don't really necessarily need to do that. Just keep the two balls and keep it going. That will suit 99% of the families out there. But if you do have a dog like Kaizer, who has lots of potential, and you yourself, are interested in this kind of work, then there are sort of other things that you can do to really kind of bring this on. And again, I'm going to save that specifics for these types of things for other videos. Something that I'll then show after these clips, there's two of them. Once I realised that he was slowing down, he wasn't as enthusiastic, it was really time to stop that training session, and duration of your session is extremely important. You really want to stop when they're at their high and at their highest, and you really want to keep them short and fun. And the more you keep them short and fun, the better that they'll be the next time that you want to go and train whatever it is that you want to train. So just be mindful of your duration, and don't keep them working for too long. Always keep the anticipation for your next session there within your dog. So in the second clip of the retrieve, and I'm going to tell you something that's really important now, is that I've got him to heel. I've got him to not naturally just go and get that toy, but to actually do that on command and then bring that back to me. So we're working actually on sending them away on this little clip, and we didn't do it for long. Again, I didn't see his excitement level, his drive there as well as I'd like it to, because again, we'd already been training for quite some time at this point. So this is something as well, I'm going to tell you, this is something that you're not really going to want to do within the same training session. So if you really want a dog to really go and get that ball and really come back to you, you don't want to in a way kind of put restrictions on that and corrections on that. So this is why you really want to do sort of leave it in a separate session, because if you do it in the same session, there's also going to get really confused. It's going to be, okay, well, can I get it, can I not get it? So really be sure as to what it is that you know you want to focus on in that session. And you hear me say it time and time again, you need to break down everything that you're doing in little steps. That's the foundations of teaching anything new to anybody. You start off with a little bit, and you know, and then give them a little bit more over time once they're confident and capable of that initial step towards your goal. So leave, out, recall, they're all separate behaviours, but you can bring them together to work on the retrieve. Then with the send away and the retrieve, again, that's great on a separate session, because if you do have to correct for going without your command, the dog doesn't get confused, you know, well, can I go, can I not go? So make sure they're in separate sessions. But I'm just going to show you that for you now, and just working a little bit more on him having self-control around that particular toy, and then sending him to get that on command as well as retrieving it on command. Hope you enjoy the little clip. Leave. Yeah. Yeah. Good boy. Yeah. Out. Yeah. Out. Yeah, boy. So with regards to the retrieve, I'm going to sort of leave that there now. So I'm going to be dropping off to his family tomorrow, so I'm going to spend a lot of time with them, good couple of hours, just going over everything that, you know, that we've done with him sort of in the past few weeks. I will be aiming to record our sessions, our sort of introductory, you know, introductory, I don't know what to call them, but our sessions with the owners, you know, when we do bring these dogs back. I'm able to give a lot of information sort of at these times, and I think it'd be very useful to anyone sort of watching at home as well. But for now, I'm going to jump straight into some healing videos to show you how well he's healing now. And then once you've seen them, we'll jump back and we'll have a little chat sort of around what it is that you saw and how we achieved it. What we'll do as well, we could go all the way up to the threshold.
Yeah.
Instead of getting another threshold for him.
That's lit.
Right, keep filming. There's another threshold for him. Which we really tried to muscle through. Right,
Okay.
So this is a real good opportunity to kind of test him on the threshold work that we've done. I've never advised this to do this with beginners. So I know this dog and I'm a big chocolate. I would never advise him, especially by the road. So what I did then was tap him with vibration. Just get his attention, bring him to me, heel, and then we'll go to the threshold. Again, just a bit of vibration. Sorry, pal. all I did there was use vibration. I mean, I've paired it with the leash already, but to stop him kind of sniffing the ground. As soon as the dog sniffs the ground, they get the scent into something. He especially will track. Kaizer, heel. He especially will track, so it's good to get his nose up until it's been released. Ah, good. So again, I'm correcting that. However, there was a lot of leash work that we did before. Another threshold. I think I've done a video of this as well actually. So see how it does. Kaizer, heel. Good. Kaizer, sit. Also. Okay, so as you can see, Kaizer's hitting like an absolute champ. That was, I think, day 12 that we filmed that. So within 12 days, we've got from putting like an absolute steam train, diving through thresholds, to now being polite, keeping his mind on you and his position to you, and he's doing it really, really well. Definitely predisposed for this type of work, and he loves doing it as well. I really wanted to just take the time now just to really kind of put out a warning for everybody with regards to what you saw in that video. I mentioned it on the video, but I do want to take the time to say it again. I do not recommend anybody walking down the street with their dog off leash. It doesn't matter how well they do it. All it takes is one cat and one car, and that's it for your dog. I did this with Kaizer now because I really know the dog. I've been doing this for many years. I know what I'm doing. It's a quiet road, and he's been tested, and I've done so much leash work with this. Normally I would put him on the leash in those kind of situations because there's really no point sort of having him off leash, but obviously I wanted to show you how well he heals sort of around distractions and stuff like that. So I know at every point, and I can, you know what he's thinking, what he's going to do, and I have an e-collar as well to be able to grab his attention and put him back from that. And again, just putting an e-collar on the dog and using the e-collar on the dog isn't going to get those sorts of results. You do need to condition your dog, you do need to train your dog, and you do need to get the repetitions in there in order for your dog to create, you know, those successful habits and the muscle memory involved as well. So please don't just run out there and take a dog off leash because, you know, you think it's cool walking down the road without your dog on leash. If your dog is a chaser, if your dog has a tendency to sort of take chase to anything and be excited, then, you know, chances are that at some point there may be something that's really going to get his liking on the other side of the road. He's going to dart across, and I hope there are no cars coming if that was to ever happen, but that won't ever happen if you keep him on the leash around the road. So I just wanted to get that point in there because I know it can be quite tempting, and I don't really want people trying that. It's very, very dangerous. So I'm going to move on to two other clips now. One clip is going to be a turn towards, and the other one is going to be finding the heel position. So before we even got there, and I really want to sort of stress this, you know, as much as we can, you know, it was all leash work. I'm going to show you a clip when I watch back, you know, I sort of said, or maybe on the clip, or, you know, or at least know, you know, at this point I need more leash work with this dog. Just because the leash is an excellent guide, you can get them and manipulate them into the position that you want and stop them making the mistakes. And again, you just get them repeating successful behaviours. You can eventually take the leash off and they will naturally do that. But the leash is a great tool to be able to manipulate their body. So before teaching heel, before teaching, you know, anything like that, we first teach the dog not to make the leash tight, and we make it sensitive to the leash, so we can then manipulate, you know, we are then capable of manipulating the dog sort of with the leash after that. So I'm going to show you sort of a little clip, and this is of the turn towards, so we can even sort of turn away from the dog and bring them round, which we initially do in the first stages, and then when they get more confident with that and they get better with the heel position, then we turn towards them, which means that they then need to sort of turn their rear end sort of, you know, sort of towards rather than away. And that can be quite difficult for some dogs. Some dogs don't have the hind awareness, some dogs don't have the flexibility. Kaizer was really good at that from day 2. He doesn't quite pivot yet, sort of and make that look real flash and real good, but but you know, for under 2 weeks, I think it looks fantastic. You know, it's a great dog, and you can really, you know, brush up on that pivot by using sort of touchpads, pivot boxes, things like that. That'll be another video entirely, but if you do Google pivot boxes or touchpads, you'll be able to see how people teach the dog how to pivot and gain that rear hind awareness and move their rear end. So I'm going to show you that now, just so again you can see, you know, what Kaizer looks like, and I'll be back to you shortly after.
Up until about 40 minutes, you're going to get my voice in this video.
Hill, come on. Good. Hill. Good. Hill. Hill. So what he's doing there, and the reason why he's jumping, is that the vibration actually creates a lot of animation within dogs. As you can see, I'm using the vibration, and if you check out his body language, you check out his attitude, you check out his attention, you check out his focus, and you check out his drive, they're all going at full blast. And that's what's really great about the pager, is that sometimes you can use the nick and it feels like a correction, but with the pager it actually provides animation within the dog, and the animation comes from the speed, the attention, the focus, the attitude. So with the pager you can almost, like you can cue engagement, you almost cue that drive, you cue that behaviour with the pager. So it's a really interesting tool, really misunderstood tool, has some great results, but you have to know what you're doing sometimes with certain dogs if you are using a pager, because they will exhibit certain behaviour that's maybe a little bit undesirable. So you have to learn how to kind of control that extra drive within your dog. So that was a clip of him heeling and the turn towards. At that particular stage we needed a lot more leash work sort of involved, so we did the leash work on the back of this video for week 3. I'm going to show you another video now of something I like to do with a lot of dogs, and that is them finding your left leg or finding that heel position from various positions. Now what you really want to do is that you really want to manipulate their body into finding that position from wherever they're coming to you from. Now if you were doing the turn away, they can easily find your heel position from behind you, even from the side of you, but dogs can find it quite difficult, you know, to begin with, in terms of finding the heel position from the front and various positions, you know, from the front, whether it's diagonally to the right, diagonally to the left, from the side. So what we're doing here is just a little game that we're doing. We're having him sit, stay, and then calling him into heel position once I do a 180. I'm going to show you in another video, and I'm going to have a lot of videos actually to show you how to really gain sort of the boundaries with heel and for them to find the left leg, and how you can sort of overcome, you know, sort of regular issues that you tend to have with heeling. But that will be for sort of another video entirely. For now I'm just going to show you a demonstration of us starting to do that on day 12. Hill. Good. All through. Kaizer. Hill. Hill. Good. Hill. Okay. So now we're going to jump into a cool little video of 2 huskies and Kaizer heeling side by side with me not having to touch the leash. So I'm just going to show you that demonstration now, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I achieved that afterwards. So whenever, I mentioned earlier on in the clip as well, so whenever we are initially teaching heel and leash work, it's always, the first step is to not make the leash tight, so we have that sensitivity with the leash. So if we put it in a particular direction, the dog moves in that direction and not against it. Again, if you watch week 1, you would have seen that dogs have something called an opposition reflex. So if you put on the lead, they want to pull in the opposite direction. So you are, in a way, having to overcome a bit of Mother Nature there. So that's just a natural instinct to put in the opposite direction. So you need to train them to, not all dogs, some dogs will give into that nice and easily. But for any kind of forgers, love to forge forward, love to pull on the lead, then you need to gain sensitivity to the lead with the collar. And again, separate video entirely, and I'll show you step by step how we achieve what we did then. So the first step is to make the leash tight, and then you create and define that heel position. So you create boundaries, or the boundary for heel position. These dogs, Huskies obviously love to move forward and forge. Kaizer love to move forward and forge. So we taught them how to not make the leash tight, and then we moved on to defining heel and the heel position, and that was all on the lead first. And that will then set you up to achieve something like this. So Summer was on the outside because she's well practiced and well versed. Patchy will kind of keep alongside her. He'll like to forge forward, but he's very sensitive to the e-collar as well. So just a little bit of a page, use a page a little bit with a Patchy, and he'll take that step back. We've done the leash work with him before. So they all know that they can't move past me. That's a boundary that we created with the e-collar. So they can't move past me. So every dog that you see there knows that they need to be in that position to my left. And then further define that in their positions with the collar. I had Kaizer really close to me because one, I'm training him obviously for that anyway, and he won't be in this sort of position again to do these sorts of things again. So I had him right beside me, so there was no confusion for him. And again, Patchy and Selma have had a lot more work with regards to the heel than Kaizer, so he was right near me, and he likes to be near you as well, so that works really well for him. Summer was on the outside because again she had a lot of leash work, and in terms of the turn I can kind of cue her first before the other two, so it makes that turn just a little bit easier, although this was the first time we did it with Apache. So I'm just going to show you how kind of set these guys up to do it, first of all on the leash, and how I'm holding the leash, so you can see the step before really move into this position, and this clip is got MJ in it as well. MJ is a dog that just had a 3-week board and train with ourselves, and this is what we got him doing, and I'm sure there's a clip as well that I may share with you showing him doing exactly what I'm about to show you now, and again me not touching the leash. So enjoy the clip, and I'll talk to you on the other side. Kaizer, day 3. MJ, on me. Good. Turn. Come on, boy. Okay, MJ needs a little bit more work on the turn, I think. That's what's happening. But yeah, we've called stop filming. So that's it for Kaizers week 2. Hope you've really enjoyed it. Hope you've gained a lot of value by watching this video. Hope there's been some tips that will really sort of help you build that relationship with your dog and overcome some problems that you may be having around either the retrieve or the recall. If you do want to see anything in particular, I'd love to hear from you. These updates of the dogs that I have do take a bit of my time, but I will be stepping back a little bit on them so I can provide specific videos for you on anything that you really want to see. I really want to touch base with healing and loose leash work and some more recall work, but if there is anything that you want to see, feel free to comment, message me, and I'd love to do a video for you. But that's it for now. Once again, hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're looking at this on YouTube, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Over and out.